That's
Get off. Get off there, go on.
And we're off to the start of the 1987 Ferriby 10, and immediately I'll hand you over to Kevin Tolchard, who's the commentator for today's event.
Thanks, Pete. As you can see, the weather is as per usual for the Ferriby 10. We've got a rather cold day today, a lot of runners wearing tights, I believe. At the front at the moment we have Jim Dingwall, just out of shot.
Got a monitor there, you can see what's happening. You look at the monitor.
So here we have it, Jim Dingwall in the lead already. Supposed to be in quite good form at the moment. And just behind him we have number 411.
Duncan McFarland.
It was Duncan McFarland from Scunthorpe Harriers, wearing a luminous vest. George Baker tucked down the inside there, Andy Ulrich following just behind as well.
City of Hull winning the team race at the moment, but the race is only 1.5 minutes old.
I think that's a bit early to judge the team race yet, Pete. I think Sheffield, I believe, got quite a strong contingent out today.
Yes, the leading runner there is veteran Malcolm Martin, one of the country's leading veterans.
I believe Carl Nightingale also entered today.
Yeah, I haven't seen him yet.
I haven't seen him, but he's entered. The surface today, Peter, looks quite good for running on.
But at least it's got no snow on it.
Good.
Temperature at the moment is 0 degrees centigrade, and there's a chill easterly and the occasional snow flurry. And the race now is just over half a mile old, and we still have Jim Dingwall leading that group. He's pressing on, and he's obviously stating his intent, and he's looking quite good. What'll say you, Kev?
He looks quite good. He's stamped his authority in the race from the start, I think. After last year when Dave Wilkinson pulled away from him, halfway, I think he's trying to work a bit harder at the start of this race. I like the way George is sitting on his shoulder. I don't know, is George fit at the moment, Pete?
Very, very fit.
So it could be a possible challenge from George today, do you think?
Yes, this could be the day when George wins a really big one. Yeah. We haven't seen Dave Wilkinson yet, have we?
We haven't. He's supposed to be coming, Pete, I believe. But I didn't see him before the race. Haven't seen him in the race yet.
There's no sign of him there. This could be Jim's race.
Steve Rennie's in that second group there.
He seems to be struggling now a bit.
Already, yes.
Yes, that's right.
And there's Mark Smith as well going through. Stu Shaw crosses off the pace as well after 5 minutes.
Yes, well, Israel, if you're not warmed up, you've got quite a problem there, haven't you, really?
That could be a problem today as well, because I know some of the lads are just running around the school grounds trying to warm up.
A lot of Grimsby lads, there were blue and white hoops in that next group.
I think all the teams seem to be sticking together for extra heat, Pete, do you think?
Could be. There's Pete Jarvis here. This is one of his 2 very serious races this winter. The other one's going to be the London Marathon.
Owen Fowley just gone through there.
Yeah.
Less said about Alan the better, I think.
Rob Robbie just gone through.
Oh, Mr. Rob Robinson there.
He's a bit off the pace today. If he's going to get his 56 or 55 minute, he's got a bit of work to do. There should be quite fast times today, though, Kevin. I think, you know...
Well, that lead group seems to be pushing quite hard, Pete, so...
Yeah.
What's the course record for this course, Pete?
Well, it's a new course, really, and it's only the second time it's been run.
Is it? But it's supposed to be quite a hard course from what I've been told. I've actually ran this distance before, but been informed by reliable sources, it's quite a difficult course with a strong sort of uphill section to start with, followed by downhill.
Yeah, that's still the same. Yes. Essentially, it's the same. The only change is that you finish at the school, but it's still this 10 miles, 168 yards, or thereabouts.
Give or take 100 yards.
Yeah. But you're quite right, you've got 4 to 5 miles, and 3 of those miles are uphill. The highest point of the course is about 300 feet above sea level.
Which is quite high for home.
We have the usual repartee from the all the lads, who, it's got to be said, they're just out for a run. So no chance of winning or winning any prizes. Definitely the run for fun brigade now, would you say, Kevin?
Well, you could say that, Pete, but I wouldn't say it's much fun run today. It's a bit cold out there.
Mm.
I think I prefer running in the sunshine myself. Yeah.
So, there's McFarlane there from Scunthorpe, is now taking it up. He's a leading junior runner.
Is that the Dave McFarlane?
Sorry, Dave McFarlane, yes. He's an up-and-coming runner, so he could prove quite a threat. He has run under 50 minutes for 10 miles. And of that group there, I would say he's the leading contender to Jim.
I know Dave's got a bit of a sprint, or at least he used to, because I used to race him for 1500 metres.
Yes.
He's about the same age as me. I know he used to be standing most of the times, but he's got quite a fast finish as far as I can recall. In fact, he won the Gated road race about 4 years ago when I ran it, in the junior section. So he's got quite a good background behind him.
What age would that make him, Kevin?
He's about 21, I think. 21. I think he's younger than me, he's about 21, Pete.
Yes. So
it's age against experience here. Jim's got the experience, and Dave McFarlane's a little younger, but is he stronger?
George Baker's worth talking about. He's not took the lead. He very often does. Pushes on and blows himself out. He's taken a rest right on Duncan or Dave McFarlane's shoulder there, and he seems to be doing it quite right. Paul Clark has tucked it quite nicely in. I don't know much about his present form, but I know he's run sub 50 for 10 as well. And just behind him is the ever-consistent John Barker, also of Grimsby. But those two runners seem to just be struggling a little now.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a breakaway group of 3 quite soon. We're going to see McFarlane, Jim Dingwall and George Baker pulling away from the Grimsby runners, I think.
This hill has sorted this group out. You see Andy Ulrich has dropped off, Mike Lake has dropped off, and as I say, the other 2 or 3 runners are struggling at the back now. And it's definitely... McFarlane is definitely calling the shots.
George is taking his spectacles off there. It must mean he means business, I think.
And so the leading group is now down to 3, the big 3. That's George Baker, Duncan McFarlane and Jim Dingwall. These could well fill the first 3 places, but who's going to win? We'll have to wait to see. But the field, it's not as classy as last year. There's no Carl Nightingale, who we expected to be up there. There's no Dave Wilkinson, but I think we've got quite a race on between those front 3.
Martin's passed Andy in the last half a mile. I think Andy must be struggling after that quite fast start, Pete.
Yes, quite right.
He is.
Deserves to.
Steve Rennie in shot now.
Going too fast, blowing up.
Mark Smith there, following behind. City of Hull packing quite well with Stu Shallcross there.
Dave Jarvis now he did 54 minutes in the Tipton 10 recently. So he's running on par for his sort of 10-mile time, although potentially he's a much faster 10-miler than that.
Quite a long gap for the next runner.
Yes. You can see the expression on the faces. I think it's the cold air, you know, it gets right on the lungs and it's quite painful.
It's quite a burning sensation in the lungs once the air is so cold. Grimsby, I think, looking good for second team prize here.
Yes.
I think City of Hull got wrapped up almost.
Yeah, Trevor Shields there, East Tall Harriers. Yeah. It looks pretty good. I don't think Sheffield, a lot of Sheffield runners haven't bothered coming with the weather. There is one man here, and I think he's worth just staying on for a minute. He's got a red vest on, blue top, and it looks like Peter Ellison. Yes, it is, Peter Ellison. Surprise return. And Alan Fowley, number 84, yes, yes.
Hat on.
Keeping his brains warm.
There's Rob Robinson going through, getting away from the crowd.
Oh, sure. That's going to be a big.
Are you on now? Veteran Colin Martin, the video film cameraman, showing his skill in capturing the agony and ecstasy of this great event.
I don't know so much about ecstasy, Pete, but I know there's a lot of agony out there at the moment. I mean, 10 miles are hard enough run to start with.
That's Brian Jones just coming into video shot.
Rob Robinson there.
Rob Robinson. Alan Fowley once again, he's hogging the screen. Pete Jarvis there's running very well. He's having an excellent run.
I think it's something to those new shoes he's wearing, Pete.
Yeah, it could be.
Must be. He promises a good rest there, doesn't he?
Yeah. All sorts of pointers to form here. Peter Ellison again, running around near Shane Page. I don't suppose Shane Page would have ever expected to be ahead of Peter Ellison.
Pete's not very fit at the moment, obviously, Pete. Is there any particular reason for that, do you know?
Yeah, he's running a business.
Oh, I see.
Seems to be an occupational hazard.
Almost a bad start to your family, I believe.
We'll not tell you, but some dramatic things have happened. We'll tell you as the story unfolds. But that's Peter Moon there leading that group. Peter Moon, who's now captain of East Hull Harriers, formerly of Hull Spartans and formerly of East Hull Harriers before that, where in the late 60s he was a three times cross-country champion. So Mike Lake there's in picture. He's having a good steady period. He was second counter for City of Hull in the Northern Championships, second to Steve Rennie, who's an excellent cross-country runner. So Mike, having come out of the army, he's had a year or so, he's got himself his act together and he's running quite well. And so we're on, and these three runners here, two from Grimsby Harriers, they're 4th, 5th and 6th in the race. Paul Clark, and also
Malcolm Martin from Sheffield.
Malcolm Martin.
It's the chasing group, chasing the three.
And John Barker, of course. We're very close to those runners. Top international athlete.
There he is, Jim
marathon
Dingwall.
runner. Jim is suffering. He said he thought it would have been a wise move not to run today. I'm sure he's heartily in agreement with that now. This is a tough race if you're not 100% fit.
Here we have in second place George Baker, who's now got about 100 yards on Jim Dingwall. As we said earlier, George is in quite good shape at the moment. He's left Jim for dead. Jim's struggling. In fact, Jim is being caught up by the chasing group of 3 runners, I believe. But George is running quite strong at the moment. That leading group of 3, which we thought would stay together, has actually split up.
Yes, George is a good runner. He's got plenty of stamina. If he could believe in himself, he could possibly get to the leader, Duncan McFarlane. He's about 80 yards down. It looks an awfully long way when you're running flat out anyway.
I think it's very hard to close that gap once it opens, Pete, because although you're running at very much the same speed as the guy in front, there's that buffer zone between the 2 of you, which is always very, very difficult to close. Unless, of course, the guy in front blows up completely.
He's done. Well, McFarlane is just coming in a shot, and he's showing no signs of that. He's certainly springing along there.
Here we have Duncan McFarlane again after that rather treacherous corner.
He's looking like all runners when they're running well. He doesn't look under strain at all. He just looks like he's jogging, doesn't he?
He's running a lot faster than everybody else, and yet he looks easier than everybody else. That's a sign of a class runner.
A runner you used to run against, Kevin?
Many years ago, Pete.
So we're coming along Kemp Road here, one of the posher parts of Swanland, or of the whole area probably. And we've got some class runners coming through.
That's right. It's quite an undulating part of the course as well, isn't it, Pete? You've got uphills, you've got slight downhills, and a few bits in the flat, which is strange for Hull, in my experience of the last couple of years.
And here's one of the Kemp Road residents on the left-hand side with a brown jacket on, just making a comment. That is none other than Brian Cook, former district marathon record holder. 2 hours 22:13. And also the owner of Windsor House. And so, Duncan McFarlane, he seems to be extending his lead. He's running exceptionally easily. It's down a slope now, so if you're running well, it's very difficult to close the gap.
Although in saying that, I think George, the gap hasn't opened very much. We thought it had opened earlier on, but I think it's very much the same. It's about, what, 100 yards or so between George and...
We're just timing this and just give you an idea what the gap is. It's a bit more than you think, you know. It's about 15 seconds.
15 seconds, so it's less than 100 metres.
Yeah. And Jim now, he's certainly held his position. He doesn't seem to be under threat like he was just before from that group behind. So Jim's running a bit better now. That smooth economic style. And you can... And in the next group there's Malcolm Martin there sitting around. He's looking quite easy.
Mike Blake there, close up quite a bit on those 3
Mike
feet.
Blake, he might get amongst them yet, you know.
I think he will. He's looking very strong.
Yes. Yeah. And the next 2 runners here. It is Peter Moon's having a good run. Peter Moon is having a good run. He's in the distance we can also see Martin Farrell. He must be disappointed with this.
I think Martin's better on the shorter distances, Pete.
He does like to think he's a 10 miler as well.
We've seen him perform better over 5 miles, just a West Park race as well, haven't we?
Yeah.
And they've got him 5.
You could certainly do with one of those massive kicks that he put in there.
Yeah.
To close the gap or 2 up.
I think he'll need a couple of those massive kicks, Pete, at the moment where he's such... Mike Lake's definitely closing on that group of 3 who are chasing the leaders.
Yes. And Mike's got quite a finish, so he may well have quite a say in that if he could just get on to them. But Paul Clark there of Grimsby, been in and out of running, and he looks like he's got himself very fit again. He's one of these runners who can get themselves fit very quickly.
Here we have Jim. He's pulled away again from that group. He's got a big gap on them. It's a matter now of can he catch George Baker.
Well, he's after George, there's no doubt about that. You can see by the set look on his face. There's one way to maintain your position, and that is to go for the next one.
And keep your eye on the guy in front. Just closing on as much as you can. Slight uphill here, which is going to hurt the runners a little bit, especially trying to catch the guy in front, which Jim's trying to do to George now. Just got George in picture now. George is still looking quite strong. Fairly easy as well, Pete.
Yes. The trouble is you can't run any faster than your fastest, can you? And the gap is beginning to look impossible. You can see they're almost equal distance between the first three.
36 minutes into the race, Pete, so we've got what, another 14, 15 minutes left?
That's right. And I can only see the first three positions widening.
As you can see.
Without the help of the stewards here, who must be frozen to the marrow, these events wouldn't take place with such slick organisation.
And of course, homicide police as well, Pete, who close off all the roads, or as best they can anyway, control the traffic.
I mean, this looks like the surface of the moon or something here, doesn't it? These heaps of snow all over the place. Well, there's been a lot of phone calls to Runner Care all this week, asking if this race would take place. As you can see by the look of the snow on the side of the roads, there's no wonder we got those inquiries. But we have been lucky, the snow has held off, although there seems to be a lot in the air. And there's only, as Kevin said, only a few minutes left of this race, possibly another 2 to 2.5 miles or less. All three runners there in a real sort of train. Now, you can see just about, if Fred moves over, all three runners in shot there, and you can see the kind of gaps. There's no way those positions can change by some sort of accident. You note that George is running on the right-hand side of the road. He could actually be disqualified for that, because road runners should always run on the left. If you run on the right, it's deviating the course.
That's right.
And runners have been disqualified for this.
But if he gets disqualified, I think everybody else behind us will be disqualified as well, because they're all running on the right-hand side of the road as well.
Yeah, that's correct. Well,
which means we have one finisher. It'll be Duncan McFarlane.
Well, the winner, he's playing it by the book, and I don't blame him.
Yeah.
So we're on 43 minutes, and we're just waiting for the leader, who of course is Duncan McFarlane, one of the youngest winners for some years. In fact, I think we have to go back to Malcolm Mountford for a younger winner of this race. I think he won in 1977 or so. Went on to be a prolific marathon runner. Prolific, but never as good as he might have been, I think. Next, you can see George Baker there. He's held on pretty well. Certainly Duncan hasn't got away, but there's no way George can close that gap either. And George knows that, but at least he's getting second place, and a very well earned second place. Jim comes round now. He's clear in third place. He's wise and old enough to know that he can't do anything about this either. Yeah, and Mike Lake has got with that group, so this could be very interesting.
The group's easier to work with than by yourself, so we've got a good chance of catching Jim.
And
After this bunch fell.
16 seconds Jim was behind George there, so that's not closable.
And Mike's looking determined at the front, Pete, I think.
Yes, that could. So we must now go to the finish, but there's a very interesting battle going on there for the lower positions. And so the finish of the 1987 Ferriby 10, there's an outright and clear winner, Duncan McFarlane of Scunthorpe Harriers, and he's setting a course record for this new course. In fact, I'm pretty sure it is. He's running 50-26-27.
If you pushed it, Pete.
No, well, as it's 50-30 now, it'd be difficult.
Is it? Oh, my watch is my watch is.
And they finished there 50-35 for the winner. 50-35, I make it.
I'll make it. My watch has stopped. Yeah, go on. You're right, Pete. Yeah, my watch stopped.
And second place, excellent run by George Baker. I think this is the third running of this particular course in 50 minutes and 58 seconds. He's checking his watch. And these runners are going to suffer for this. Jim has held on. He's a second count of the City of Hull, third position overall. Second last year, third this year. He's looking round. He's in no danger though. Just checking on the opposition. For a man who's not fit, 51.25 is not bad. And Paul Clark there's coming. He made fourth. Paul Clark, excellent run by Paul, 51.33. And John Barker's had a great run, 51.36. And Mike Lake, for his brave run in there, 51.42. Malcolm Martin's coming next. A veteran, obviously won that, 51.49. Some vet.
Yes, we thought Mike might take that group there, Pete, but I think he got thrown out on the finish at there.
Good run by Peter Moon here. Peter Moon is running 52 minutes and 4 seconds. Next run, I'm not quite sure, 3.54. 3.54, followed by 3.42. Two out-of-town runners there. 3.54. 3.42.
Michael Hill and T. White from Longwood Harriers.
Yeah, and the next runner now, 52 and 34 seconds, 2.56. Grimsby runner, so Grimsby have closed the team in, but City of Hull have got it.
That's Paul Freeman coming in after Grimsby.
Yeah. And here we go with
Martin Farrell.
Martin Farrell.
He's holding off Andy there.
Yeah, well, not a bad run. It's 52, yeah. 54, and Andy, this is a good run for Andy. 52, 59, I hope he gets it. Sounds so much better than 53 minutes. And looks like another Grimsby runner there, 43. Grimsby have done very well today.
It's Rob Eccles there from Bingley Harriers, actually, Pete.
Oh, well, sorry about that. Same vest. So, oh dear. Mark
Smith all over the place there.
Yes, yes. He's
foaming at the mouth.
Yeah.
Has he got rabies? Well, Mark's alright.
And there's a Selby runner there, big lad there, 4.18. He's run well. New runner, not seen him before. Steve Rennie now, 53, 37, 38. Had a lot of injury problems, so he should be pleased with this.
Selby River Pit was Ian Muir, number 418.
Yes, new runner to look out for.
Here we have some more City of Hull runners here.
Brian Ward there, better known as an orienteer, but he likes road running.
Oh, by Stu Shark, was it Stu? No?
Stuart Shellcross is in that next group there.
Yeah.
They're running 53, 55 or thereabouts. We're just past the 54 minute mark now, and we start to have to talk about the thing where you only get on the video if you run certain paces. I've had it suggested to me that if we see Alan Foley on the picture, then he'll definitely been here too long.
Yes, that's probably true, Pete. I think we can't wait here for 2 hours for Alan Foley, can we?
No, not really, no.
We haven't got enough tape for a start.
I mean, we know he'd like us to feed his ego, but there are limits to what we can achieve. There's an East Isle Harrier here. I think he's the first East Isle Harrier I've seen, actually.
It's one of the first ones I've seen go through this.
198. Number 198.
That's Bruce
McDermott, yes. New runner on the scene. He ran just inside 55 minutes, which is no mean feat on a course like this.
This sort of weather, anything in the 60 minutes is quite good for you, I think.
Yeah. Dave Jarvis here. He'll be disappointed with this, probably. He's running 55.15, certainly potentially much faster. Number 360 finishes there, another out-of-town runner.
That's Al Steams from
Knots AC.
Pennystone Footpath Runners, please.
Beg your pardon? Two runners finishing here. Well, a lot of runners have come a long way for this race.
This is the East Hull Vestia pitch.
Yeah, that's Trevor Shields, number 211. 55.45. And John Matthews now, number 99, City of Hull. 55.55. And a great run here is Peter Ellison. He's come through very, very strongly. Former winner of this race. Former international athlete, 56.11. That's an excellent run. Give him a month's training and he'd be down to take 4 minutes off that. And so we're getting 56.30 now. And we get more and more City of Hull vests coming through. And you notice we're getting more and more people a bit better dressed down the field. I can't say I blame them.
That's right.
Jeff Clarkson, number 163 there, of East Hull Harriers. So, East Hull have had quite a few runners out, but nothing to challenge for the team title, which is firmly in City of Hull's hands.
And we think Grimsby's second team pitch.
Yes, I think there's no doubt about that. The third team, I'm not really sure who third team is. It could be any.
So Rob Robinson just comes through there.
Yeah, Rob Robinson, 57.20. Well, Phil Dewberry. Phil Dewberry's on screen.
He's walking across
Something
the line.
could happen now.
He's lost his number.
He's got in the way. He's certainly
getting some hassle.
Yes. I thought they were ski glasses he had on there. And we're now. Pete Jarvis has run excellent. 57.46. Tremendous run there.
Are you happy with that time, Pete?
Oh, well, over the moon, I would say. He's not so far behind David, is he?
No.
He's given David about 30 years.
Have we seen Shane Page come through yet? No.
Number 340 is finishing very well dressed for the occasion.
Ian Mitchell from Longwood Harriers.
And there's some. These are Scarborough runner 404. And now it's getting too difficult unless you're Raymond Glendenning and have a head full of
Stuart Backhouse from Scarborough went through there.
Backs. But we do see Brian Jones finishing there now, number 189. And you can see it's quite a big field, and we're now still 58.51. I think we've decided it's 60 minutes.
60 minutes, Pete. Do you think we'll have time to see the First Lady come through?
Well, we will have to wait on for First Lady, having said that.
Yeah, I think we should, Pete.
Yes.
We haven't seen many ladies to the fort today,
Jerry Pickering back in motion. He's had a lot of problems. 59.13. You shouldn't be unhappy with that. And yes, it is. It's Alan Fowley.
We're going to cut off now, Pete. Or should we let Alan Fowley come through?
He's coming through.
He's walking across the line. He can't run all the way.
The tape's run out. We've had to put 3 new tapes in, but we've got him.
Only just, we'll follow him all the way through. Let's watch him fall over first, Pete. No.
We can't overdo it. And so now, the only remaining question is the first lady to finish.
Some would argue the first lady's already finished, Pete. Alan Fowler just gone through, didn't he?
Well, yes, I'll not get involved in that one.
I won't get involved in that one either. It's just an ambitious rumour I heard, Pete.
Here comes the first lady then.
58.
And it looks like the winner of the second place of the woman's own, she's just 60 minutes and 7 seconds, but she's definitely won that former 800 metres specialist.
It's Catherine Finch from the Grimsby Harriers.
Yeah, that's right. So the ladies' prize has been wrapped up.
Is there a second lady anywhere in the air? Was it a close race? We missed most of it on the way around.
So Kevin, I'd like you to just possibly wrap this up.
Yes, quite a good day's racing at the front of the field. Well, you see, I feel sorry for the guys further down the field. They've been out there a lot longer than the likes of Jim and Duncan and George, who obviously wrapped up better, I think. They've got the thermal tops on today, which I think they needed. The road sales hasn't been too bad compared to previous years. So at this point, I think we'll leave the race.
With a few little thank yous, I think. Thank you to Colin Martin, our film cameraman. Thank you for our guest commentator here, Kevin Colchard. And last but by no means least, thanks to our intrepid driver, Philip Badger.
Philip Badger drove better than James Hunt today, I thought, Chris.
Yes. I thought he was James Hunt.
At some points I thought it was going to be James Hunt. James Hunt's crashed a few times, didn't it?
And with that note, we say goodbye.
Let me get water on, I think.